Sonata 7 is one of Scriabin's most intense sonatas. In this sonata analysis video, we'll be discussing Sonata 7 in terms of background information, motifs, harmony, structure, and narrative. Afterwards, listen to the piece using my video of the score with highlighted themes. Scriabin subtitled Sonata 7 White Mass in reference to Church Mass. It can be thought of as the opposite aesthetic of the previous sonata as it pertains to light and divinity. I want to make the disclaimer that it's just my interpretation when I speak of the narrative or imagery of Scriabin's work. I hope you all will create your own interpretation, and I figure it's still helpful for me to share mine. The piece begins with an intense primary motif that is later marked imperious. This motif consists of a two-note rhythmic figure we see throughout Scriabin's work that signifies power and boldness. I interpret this primary motif as a call to adventure. A less important motif is introduced afterwards, marked mysterious sonorous. The chords of this motif are like a major and minor triad combined that's transposed in minor thirds. The next motif, marked with a somber regality, uses the same major-minor set but is stated boldly as a melody. After Theme 1 motifs are introduced, we have a contrasting lyrical Theme 2 marked with a celestial voluptuousness. This motif is accompanied by a flight motif. Lastly, my favorite motif, marked scintillating, is introduced in the development section, which brings about an exhilarating climax at the end. I cover some of the harmony of this piece in two of my videos on Scriabin's atonality. The motifs from Theme 1 and the flight motif use dissonant octatonic harmony, but Theme 2 and the scintillating motif use a combination of octatonic and mystic harmony to provide a consonant contrast. The structure roughly resembles the previous sonata where Themes 1 and 2 are presented before a winged journey at the start of the development section. Theme 2 undergoes many repetitions in the development section with more and more menacing interjections from Theme 1 motifs. The scintillating motif is always presented softly in the development section to contrast the intensity of the rest of the sonata. By the end of the development section, Theme 1 motifs build up like flashes of lightning to a thundering recapitulation. When Theme 2 returns in the recap, the flight motif is altered to two-note dyads instead of single notes, which is an interesting technique Scriabin uses. The coda alters the primary motif to a rolled mystic chord version of the motif. After a quiet use of the scintillating motif, there's a turning point where we depart from previous material with a brief improvisatory section that resembles the scintillating motif. After using the second half of the scintillating motif to build up, we get a huge climax marked with overflowing joy. The intensity stays amplified as we get a reoccurring dance motif marked delirious until collapsing on a giant rolled chord. The ending presents the first half of Theme 2 and then withers away to the upper register. Though the narrative of this sonata is a little harder to decipher than the previous sonata, I understand it as an internal journey of spiritual development where mysterious Theme 1 motifs drive the protagonist Theme 2 towards spiritual attainment. We come across several of Scriabin's recurring archetypal markings, including imperious will, mysterious forces, flight, and delirious dance. Ultimately, the scintillating theme is the catalyst for joyous enlightenment, which is followed by an overwhelming collapse. In the end, the protagonist ascends into nothingness, portrayed by the mystic chord. Check out my website where you can download some free music theory content and join the discussion on the Discord server. Please like, comment, subscribe, and send me some Bitcoin.